Welcome to Relational Database Design. My name is Ken Walsh. The relational database model is an information model for a project, process, or organization. It is more detailed than the entity relationship model, which captured high-level information ideas. It's very close to the physical specifications of a database that we will implement on a computer, and it's normalized to minimize redundancy. We'll look at this in more detail. A relational model is considered a collection of relations. Relations define the information in the model. Every relation has a name. They are similar to the tables found in relational databases. Here's the syntax: relation name, open parentheses, primary key, underlined, comma, followed by a list of attributes. So an example, customer. First attribute, customer ID, is a primary key attribute that uniquely identifies instances of information, followed by first name and last name. An instance of this might be customer ID 1234, Bob for a first name, and Smith for a last name. An attribute is an indivisible piece of information about a relation. Example, first name. An instance of that would be Bob. An incorrect attribute for a relation would be something like name, because this can be divided into first and last. Also incorrect would be something like address, because this can be divided into street, town, and the other components of the address. So the correct set of attributes for an address would be something like street line 1, street line 2, city, state, and zip. Note that this is somewhat context sensitive because street line 1 might represent 112 Oak Street. Well, in a sense, the name of the street, Oak Street, and the number 112 are two different pieces of information. So for most business applications, we'll just consider street line 1 close enough. But if you were doing some marketing or managing some type of door-to-door marketing campaign, you might be interested in breaking those pieces out so that you can make more accurate queries of the database later. Primary key. One of the attributes will be a key field that will uniquely identify instances of data within that relation. They're required for nearly every relation. We won't get into exceptions here. And they're shown as underlined. Here's an example of the student relation where the student ID is the primary key attribute. Now, foreign keys are another type of attribute that let one relation point to another relation if the information is related. So in this, let's take a look at this example. The customer ID is the primary key of the customer relation, and order ID is the primary key of the order relation. But we know that an order was probably placed by a customer, and so we don't want the orders to just sit out there on their own. We want to know what customer placed it. So we put the customer ID as an attribute of order, and that's kind of like a pointer over to the customer relation where we can get more information on the customer if we need it. A couple things to point out. We don't want to put the customer's first name and last name and other information in order because it would be redundant, and we'd have multiple copies of it, and we'd have problems if some of that information changed. But by simply putting the foreign key, then we're saying, well, if you need any information about the customer, go look back at the customer relation.